Welcome to Dances of LA, a series with the movers of the City of Angels, where we chat about their journeys and tips for navigating the dance industry. I'm Shelby Lawson, and today I'm with Long Nguyen.
What's good?
Professional dancer and also professional friendly face at Millennium. I feel like you are a staple in the dance community, so excited to chat with you today.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
Right.
And I have to tell the story about how this came to be because it's so funny. I was going somewhere from, what airport were we at? We were at LAX. At LAX. So flying out of LAX, and I'm walking to go get a coffee, and then I look, and I'm like, I know that guy. He's so familiar. And I was like, okay, it's the Millennium guy. Now I know your name is Long.
But
You're
here's
not
the
the
thing,
Millennium guy.
I didn't know you.
The truth comes out. Yeah.
No, but okay, so I didn't know you, but I recognized your face because you used to do the front desk at T Millie at one point.
I
right?
never did. No.
Never mind. So,
No,
so I
that
still
was-
don't know you.
somebody else.
Never mind.
Nope, I have never worked at
Yo,
Millie, but
are you
I have.
serious?
Yes, I'm very
so
serious.
embarrassed. Edit this
No
out.
worries.
Edit this out.
It's all good. I appreciate you pretending that you
Oh
knew
my
who I
God.
was when we met at the airport.
Really?
Yes, yeah.
I truly thought you.
But you were on your way.
I'm so sorry. This episode's gonna be so long. I'm so sorry.
You were on your way to a tour, right? To do a dance.
We were literally at LAX to fly to our first city on tour.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you ran into us.
Yeah.
And then you were like, oh, hey, I think I know you. And I was
Yeah.
like, the first thought in my mind was, what video of mine went viral that I didn't know about? Because
Yeah.
I'm like, you must have known me through a video instead of like us
Face to
actually-
face.
You
Yeah.
know? I'm like, dang, I must be doing well on Instagram.
Uh-huh.
You know?
No, yeah, I've seen you. I mean, coming to class and you were with your dancer friends. I'm dead. You probably walked away like, I don't know who that girl is. But
I still
how
know
how
you.
has it? Nice to meet you. I'm
Nice to
Shelby.
meet you. Sophia.
You're on my podcast.
Oh, this is gonna be hilarious.
Oh my gosh. Okay, tell me about the tour. How is it going?
Tour is good. It's weird saying that I'm on tour just because I've worked so hard to get a tour in general. And it came a lot easier than I thought. For some reason in my head, I thought like getting a tour, I had to like jump through hoops and go through like audition after audition and like knowing the choreographer, yada, like all those things that they make us do nowadays.
Yeah.
But literally, one day I just got a text message from Ian McKenzie, who is the creative director and the choreographer of this tour. And he just asked me point blank, do you want to be on this tour?
Wow. So straight from, you got direct booked from the choreographer.
Direct book from a text message, not even like an
Wow.
official email or
my
anything. It was just like, hey, you want to do this?
That is so interesting to hear because I feel like it's so, it's just like an enigma. Like, how do you get booked for tour these days? Is that common? Like, have you been booked with other jobs that way, or has it gone through your agency, or what has that been like?
So I am signed with an agency, but I've only booked one job off of them, and it wasn't even a dance job. It was a commercial job.
Okay.
That I had to turn down because I'm on tour. So like it's like a conflict thing, like because I was already on the East Coast, the commercial was going to shoot in LA, but point of the conversation is, I book all my jobs myself.
Okay.
Which is something I never thought I would be able to do. I think it comes with being a sociable person.
Yeah.
And you just meet people in these classes, and then they need you for a piece for Jete, carnivals, or whatever, and then eventually they kind of climb up, and then they become all of a sudden a choreographer for some artist that's up and coming.
And they remember you from having a conversation when they came to class or whatnot.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, people always remember me because of my teeth.
Okay, you do have great teeth.
See, that's why.
I mean, you have a great smile.
I got them medically bleached and everything,
Okay.
so they're white.
Well, it's working.
So
Money well spent.
So it's that, but it's funny because I'm remembered a lot not because of my dancing, but because of who I am as a person and how I talk to people.
Right.
So I feel like that's important.
Yeah, and it's so funny you say that. It's reminding me of, we had Tango Liras on previous episode, and he was talking about how professionalism and how you show up in the room and what kind of person you are, how that is almost more important than your dance skills.
It's, it's what it is, because I hear it all the time in theory, from choreographers. It's like, if you think about it, if you're booking dancers for, let's say, a whole-fledged tour that's on for like 3 separate legs for a whole year, do you want to be touring with the person that's always like, what, you know, like,
Right. Who's
going
gonna bring a bad attitude?
that
Exactly.
energy?
Yeah.
Nobody wants that for a whole year, not even like a
No.
week.
You want people on your team who are gonna bring positive energy, who you have a good time working with.
Exactly.
Yeah, all the rest of
Exactly.
that.
Because at the end of the day, like, we're still human beings. We're not just dancers hitting a step.
Absolutely.
You know?
So you're signed with Go-To Talent.
Go-To.
Right? How was that process of getting signed?
It was, like, again, a lot easier than I thought. I think everything is so hard until it actually happens. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
So I have had this whole idea of like, oh my God, an agency, they already have their roster of people. I don't know if I'm gonna outbeat these people, outdance these people. What if I look the same like who they already have in their roster?
Totally, yeah.
You know?
Common fears of dancers.
Yeah, because like you have to prove to them, I guess, in a way where like, are you worth our investment in our time?
Yeah, are you going to be different enough than what we have, but also marketable enough to get booked for jobs and things like that?
Exactly. So for me personally, when I got signed, I got referred to by Kenneth Marquise.
Okay.
And
I love Kenneth.
I love Kenneth.
Oh my
Come
gosh,
on.
his group class on Wednesdays is such a vibe.
Wednesdays. I'm saying, if you want to get ready for tour stamina wise,
Yes,
that's
Wednesdays,
Kenneth
8
Marquise.
p.m.
10 minutes in, I'm like, am I built for
You're
this?
right, truly. You got to take breaks, drink some water.
But Kenneth Marquise and Michelle Sochild both were willing to like drop their names for me.
Wow.
And they were like, just send Lisa an email who's with Go-To, and then use their names, and next thing I knew, I was like signing papers.
Wow.
Yeah.
So again, coming back to the human relationships and people who had a sense of you and trusted you and knew that you would show up and do a good job, and so were willing to like put their name down for you.
Yeah, it's a heavy thing. Like, you have to trust somebody completely to be able to give them the permission and consent to use their name.
Absolutely, because at that point, you're a reflection of them.
Exactly, because what if I was that person that's like, that person? God forbid.
Exactly. And so you were saying before the camera started rolling that you've been learning a lot on tour.
Oh,
Tell me more about that.
Okay, let me tell you. Everyone's gonna have a different experience. With me, I've always been a really full-out dancer. I grew up watching tours. So I think my style of dancing was always like a choreography type of situation, to dance for the masses and to the nosebleeds. What I've learned so far, you're more than capable than what you think you are. You know what I mean? Like, in your mind, even though you're overwhelmed and you're probably like, your brain is fried from, let's say, by hour 5 of an 8-hour rehearsal, you're like, this is so much information thrown at me.
Yeah.
But this is why we have rehearsals, you know? So over time, it marinates, and then you get to perfect it and change it and that kind of stuff. What I'm learning is, weirdly enough, it's not even about the dance part. I'm learning more about how to handle different personalities on tour and how to conduct myself as a professional, but also be personable. I've learned that I gotta fix my face and shut my mouth.
Oh.
Which I feel like a lot of people need to really focus on.
Yes.
You know, because it's one thing to show everything on your face and be that person and be like, he's such an open book, like we can read his expressions. But sometimes there's a con to that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you're in a professional setting and a space where you may not agree with a certain thing that someone has said, then you're going to have to be able to kind of put your feelings to the side and just be like, listen, this is my lane, that's their lane.
Yeah.
I can't cross into them. They're the ones making the shots. I can't make the shots.
Yeah, because I can imagine there's so much going on, and that you really need to play, like you said, like play your part. Like, you're not the choreographer if you're a dancer. And so sometimes I'm sure you'll need to just kind of go along with the flow and It's reminding me I had a performance 2 weeks ago where we had rehearsed in like a rectangle room, like just a regular studio, and then we get to the venue and it's a T-shaped stage, and so maybe 2 hours before we were supposed to go on stage, we had to like redo all the choreography, and you guys are going to go here and you guys are going to go here, and it was so high stress and there was a lot of emotions running, but that was definitely a situation where I can see that like you just got to kind of shut your mouth, take directions, and do your best and figure it out.
Yeah, because we're trying to put on a show together. You know what I mean? And
exactly.
At the end of the day, we're trying to appease the audience and try to build this new artist up, because I'm dancing with MKX. He's a newer pop artist, up and coming. And every show we've done is different. Even though it's like the same set list, same choreography, there's always something. One show we have a catwalk. The next show, no catwalk. The third show, the catwalk's broken. So so it's just like one of those things where we have to be on our toes.
Yeah.
And I don't think dancers get enough credit. That smart dancers don't get enough credit for being smart.
And for really being adaptable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. To make it look good, to make it look like we already rehearsed this.
Yeah, absolutely. And like there's no issues. This is just how we've always done it. And show up confident and like you got it. Switching gears a little bit, I want to talk a bit about working in Los Angeles and like supporting yourself, but also continuing your training and working as a dancer. So obviously I know you from Millennium. How long have you been working there?
A little, about like almost a year and a half at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. I do work study at the front desk. And if you don't know what work study is, it's basically you work a shift for free. You're not getting paid like a monetized value, but in exchange, you get either a limited amount of free classes or unlimited amount of free classes, depending on the studio. For Millennium, I work 1 8-hour shift every Friday. That's my day. And then I get to come in and take whatever classes, how many classes, for as long as I want.
Okay, that's how I know you, when I'm on my way to Tango's class on Fridays.
Okay, I check you into class. Got it.
Exactly. So I think that's really smart. And I mean, my struggle, or something that I've seen other dancers struggle with when coming here, is like, how do you support yourself in Los Angeles while you're also trying to get into classes that can sometimes be in the middle of the day, or if you're maybe booking a job and you can't work like a normal or quote unquote normal 9-to-5 job. So I'm curious if you have discovered through this work experience or others, like ways to do that, to like support yourself and also stay dancing.
Okay, I'm gonna just keep it real. It is hard out here, like it's getting expensive by the day, So I would say for me, I have a really good savings account, because before I moved here, I worked my butt off to really get my money together. But then coming here, I knew like money was gonna burn quick because of the lifestyle that we chose. That's a lot of money, because a dance class is like $22 a pop now, $25 a pop. And on top of that, you have, like your rent, all that stuff. So it adds up. So I have to have my awareness of what type of resources are out there. One of them, like I said, is being a work study. That's free classes right there. If you're willing to invest your time into that, go ahead, do it. For the first year and a half, I was living on food stamps, EBT. Thank goodness. I used to be so ashamed. I would go to Trader Joe's and I would swipe my card, and I would feel so embarrassed because I could see the cashier. Maybe they could see what I'm swiping with. Maybe it's not a debit card. I don't know what comes up on their end of the screen. It's like, oh, like he's on food stamps. But yeah, he's looking like he's got it. I have to keep it together. You know what I mean? But you're never too good to receive help.
Absolutely.
And I take the bus and I take the train. And I don't have a car, because like that's a different investment that will probably shift my lane into something else that I probably shouldn't be at right now. So meaning a car will come to me, but not now.
Right.
I have too much to worry about financially. So I applied to this program where they give you like free bus rides for like 90 days.
Wow.
Based on, so I just have to
resourceful.
be aware. You have to be resourceful.
Yeah.
They're out there. People just don't talk about it. So I would love to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's so important to recognize that you will come to Los Angeles and want to just ball out because that's the culture of the city, right?
Do not.
You'll want to get a fancy spot and a fancy car and like fancy clothes. But really, yeah, I think what you said, one, saving before you come here is so crucial. And also when you get here, being realistic about what you do have and getting resourceful about what you need in order to like get into those classes, continue your training, have the flexibility in order to be able to live the dancer lifestyle. And yeah, it's not easy.
It's not easy, and it's not pretty.
Yeah.
You know, it's really hard, and you have to be up for it.
Yeah.
You have to be able to sign up with all the hardships that come with it on a daily basis. Nothing that you probably want to talk about on social media, because social media is such a manicured version of our life.
The sacrifices, I guess we decide which sacrifices are worth it in order to do that, right?
Sometimes I ask myself, is it still worth it?
Yeah, you got to check it every now and then. Like,
you have to check it every now and then.
Is this really what I want to be doing?
But I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
And you've been able to do what you love to do. You're on tour right now. You have credits with other artists, so it's admirable.
I just cannot wait to have a testimony, because right now I'm going through a test. There is always a test before a testimony.
Absolutely.
I have to say that, you know, absolutely.
So for dancers who are here or are coming to the city, do you have any tips? I know you just shared kind of about the resourcefulness and finding your way, but do you have any specific tips for dancers who maybe have the same goal as what you're doing now to be on tour?
I think something I've been struggling with as of now, like recently, is not sacrificing too much of your personal life and scrapping the relationships that do matter to you for the sake of entertainment, for the sake of this industry. You know, somebody said you have to be able to love yourself in an industry that would never love you back.
Yeah.
I have to understand. It was so hard because I've lost so many friends because I had to turn down dinner dates with them, and because I needed to go to class because so-and-so was teaching and I know they're hiring, so I gotta spend money on their class instead of spending money on like an appetizer at a restaurant. And I feel like it's such a circumstantial thing, but over time you have to understand dance is not that deep sometimes for a lot of us. We want to make it deep, and it is our pathway to something great, but at the end of the day, there's nothing better than calling your mom, you know, or hanging out with your best girlfriends and stuff like that.
Sitting on the couch, eating.
It grounds you so
gummy
much.
worms and just talking about life.
Yeah. Without your personal life, you will burn out so quick.
Absolutely. And it's so easy to, especially when you first get here. I mean, I had the feeling of like I felt behind in a way, like I need to catch up to everybody who's already been here and dancing and in the industry, and it's really easy then to just go full force into it and completely disregard other important aspects of your life, like relationships.
I feel like there's a time and place for everything. Like there are seasons to what you want to do and how you should pursue them. Of course, you have to go full out. You have to dedicate months at a time, or even like a year or two at a time, really going for this. You have to really assess where you are as a person in the industry and be like, I got a lot of work to do. So I got to sacrifice, let's say 6 months. I'm not going out. I have to really dedicate myself to this art form and to see like how I can shape myself as a person. But then you got to give yourself a little bit of a break. You got to return back to your roots. You got to go home every once in a while. You know, got to have a season to recharge so then you can come back even better.
Yeah.
You know?
And what I'm hearing you saying is like with the money, being realistic about your financial resources, being realistic about your energetic resources, like when you have the energy to be grinding in classes, and then when you need to go home and recharge or go to your best friend's couch or whatever it might be.
Yeah, like right now I'm in my season of recharging right now. Even though I'm on tour, you know, it's like before then it was just like nonstop. I would take 3 to 5 classes a day. I'd go to the gym. I would, you know, like session with friends. and then do it all over again. But now that I'm booked onto this tour, I'm starting to realize my energy is just it's very limited at this point. So now I have to be able to be like, okay, I can put that on pause. Now let me go heavy on like sleeping, sleeping, and taking out myself on dates, stuff like that.
Yeah.
While on tour, like
Right.
I'm still hitting it, but
Exactly.
not as much as I would back then.
Yeah, and I think over time you learn how to manage your energy and and your body too, and that's a whole nother story of how we can take care of our bodies.
That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, do another podcast on that one. But
Yeah.
Long, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time,
Thank you so
and
much
I'm
for
glad that
having
you
me.
know who I am now. So next time we run into each other at the airport, maybe you
Be
can
like,
say hi to
oh,
me.
hey, what's going
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. So for anybody watching, follow Long on all the socials. He's got some great content up, and catch him Fridays at Millennium.
I'll still be there.